So let's have a whole conversation around this good debt, bad debt thing. I think people get it a little bit confused, but it's really, really simple. And I think oftentimes also we lie to ourselves. It's like, well, this is good debt because, or well, I spent this on the Visa, but I can justify it because. It's like, no, no, no. There's good debt, there's bad debt. And I think the simplest way to explain it is like good debt will make you money and bad debt takes money from you. Now, let's just put it this way. If I can get debt at 4% and invest in something that makes me 8, 9, 10%, is that good debt or bad debt? At face value, we could call that good debt. Now, if that investment I'm putting in is extremely risky and I'm over leveraged, like, okay, now we can start having a bit of a different conversation. But to borrow 4 and make 8, you can do that all day long. That's good debt. If I borrow at 10%, no, get this, even if I borrow at 4%, but the asset I buy keeps losing value every year, is that good debt or bad debt? Well, it's a good rate on my debt, but it's a bad investment, and that's usually on a vehicle. Is a dealer will offer you, 4%. It's like, okay, awesome. But you buy something at $60K or $40,000 and it's worth $20,000 4 or 5 years later. It's depreciating. Now, and again, nothing is like face value because it's like, okay, well, what if I get that vehicle, but it's a nicer vehicle and it lands me, into a network? Someone asked about my Lamborghini lately, but it's like, okay, so you take on some debt on it. Maybe it depreciates a bit, so I know the cost of that. But it's already helped me do more in business, more in connections than the car is worth. So was it good debt or bad debt? And so at the root of this, it's like, what is the intention? What is the plan around it? Like, what is the reason you're taking on the debt? And I think a lot of people, they kind of stop there. It's like a line in the sand. This is good debt, this is bad debt, and this is black and white. And I just don't see it as that black and white. Good debt, bad debt. Is the good debt helping you acquire assets in some way, shape, or form? That could be education. I'm not a fan of the educational system, but if your specific intent is to be a doctor or a dentist or some kind of medical professional or engineer or something of that nature, and you're so clear that you want to move to New York or you want to move over here or there and get a job at this or that firm or this and that place, and you're going to take on 120K of debt, or probably more, 200K of debt to put you through school, and you're that this is your path, this is what you want, then I'd say that's probably good debt. It's an investment. If you're going to school and you're taking some arts or you're taking some whatever and you don't know what you want to do with your life, I'm like, okay, well, now it's questionable. That could be bad debt. The same thing with buying a house. It can be good debt. It can also be bad debt. Same with buying a car. It's not always bad debt in my mind. It can be good debt. What's the intent of that vehicle? Plus, we all have to get to A or B, so it's always just managing debt and managing assets and liabilities. I would say that most people have never even thought through this. It's like take a paper, put a line in the middle, and put assets, liabilities. Put down your assets on the left side, put down your liabilities on the right side, and just start having this conversation with yourself. I recommend doing this if you haven't really looked at your kind of assets, liabilities, cash flows, making a plan. I would turn this into a daily habit. It takes 5-10 minutes. Eventually, it might become a weekly thing. For me, it's a monthly thing. Every month, I look through things. I make sure that assets, liabilities, cash flows, good debt, bad debt, that I'm good with it, that I'm aware of it, and I'm not making any decisions or ignoring things that I shouldn't be ignoring. And so this is a practice, just like your emotional health, just like your spiritual health, your physical health, your financial health is a practice and it has to be exercised. And again, we want to limit bad debt, if not eliminate bad debt. Create good debt by investments so the appreciation or the cash flow from your investments can pay for your liabilities. Hence, you will not have no bad debt. And to me, the wealthiest people or the people who are getting ahead the fastest limit or they ex-name bad debt and they only focus on good debt and they use that to acquire more assets that give them more cash flow, that get them more opportunities, etc. Have this conversation with yourself or with a loved one or with a partner, and make it a pattern, make it a habit. Have these conversations. Our 5 minutes is up. Jump in the UIG, the mindset section, if you want to talk a little bit more about this. My Monday mindset calls, which starts in an hour as of this recording. I'm really excited for it. We're actually having a conversation around this. So I'll see you there. And with that said, I'll see you in the next episode.